How's it going, guys? So tomorrow is the day I'm actually going to be filming this video and taking this picture and showing you guys the new photo space that I'm going to be using. And I'm going to be taking some food photos first. I know I really like the contrast of the dark red of the strawberries and raspberries with like a darker navy blue background, but I don't have one of those backgrounds. So what I did, I knew I wanted something with some texture. So I went to Hobby Lobby and I got this canvas that I'm going to be using for the photo tomorrow. But it's not blue yet, so I'm gonna paint this blue. I do need to get this prepped today so that it's dry and ready to be shot on top of tomorrow. Okay, so it's the next day, the day I'm actually taking the photo. But I do need a few supplies. Mainly, I need some fruit. Okay, I think I found it, so I just need to make sure to grab the best looking stuff. There's that. I've got some strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, and raspberries, which potentially could be enough, but I would like some cherries if I can find them anywhere. So I'm gonna check out here and we'll go on to the office. There's the cutting boards. Well, we're here. Welcome to the office. Okay, so here we are. Like I said, this is the office. It's not really an office, it's not really a studio, it's technically just a room that I'm being allowed to use. So unfortunately, the lights that I was planning on using for this video are out on a different shoot. And this is the only light available. So I think I'm going to be switching to flash, but I do want to use this constant light just to set up and show you guys what I'm thinking and what I'm planning. Okay, so the idea is going to revolve around a frame similar to this. Like I said, we're shooting some berries, some fruits, and they're gonna be on this nice cutting board slash serving table. And this is the textured surface we spray painted yesterday. So first things first, I'm gonna kill the house lights. So now you can see a little bit more what my concept or idea is with the one light that I have set up. So to go bare bones, this is what the light is going to look like without any type of diffusion, pretty hard shadow, very contrasty scene. Now what we do with these super lights is they include one layer of diffusion right here just to soften that up a little bit. So you can already see a little bit what that's doing. But as you saw during the time lapse, I set up an additional layer of diffusion just right here, suspended as close to the product as possible without being in frame. Now what that does is it softens and dims down the light a little bit, but it also makes the source of the light a lot bigger and wider. And the closer to the product you can get it, the bigger the light source will seem and the softer the fall off is going to be. So I guess at this point, what I really need to do is switch you guys out and get my camera mounted so that I can start placing the berries on this cutting board and we can get right into the shot. So the camera I'm going to be using today is my Mamiya RB67 with the 90mm lens, and we're going to be shooting on Provia 100 slide film in order to really capture and capitalize the vibrant colors of the berries. So we'll jump back into another time lapse. I think I'm pretty happy with how that's looking, at least for this first shot or two. We can change it up as we go. There's no pressure here. One thing I will say is, as I was getting all this set up and deciding the composition of it all, I realized I don't need a flash, you know? I am perfectly happy with the output of this light right here. I was expecting to have more output, but I can make that work, you know? With slide film, we got about 6 or 7 stops of dynamic range, and this is all locked off with no movement. I'm perfectly happy going into like a 1-second exposure, and with shooting Provia, reciprocity wouldn't even be an issue at 1 second. I'll double check the data sheet, but I think even with Provia, you can go up to 10 seconds before reciprocity kicks in. So we're just gonna use this little light and show that it's perfectly plausible and possible to shoot some good looking images in your garage. You know, I'm pretty happy with what we're looking at right now. I took a meter reading of the highlights and the shadows, and the highlights are falling around a 60th of a second and the shadows around 1 second. So I think it'll be a breeze to split the difference, choose a happy medium with our exposure, and come out with a good looking image. So a tip that I've got for you, just as I'm getting ready to take this first shot, is when it comes to still life and food photography, there's an unrealistic expectation that is there. And once you have a good composition and color palette, it really does come down to the fine details in every image. So I've been looking through my viewfinder and looking for the tiny imperfections in the fruits that are going to stand out when you have a final image and you print that or you display it online. For example, I found one raspberry right here that isn't the most appetizing, and so easy enough fix. All I had to do was flip it over and you can't see the bad part anymore. Or I have a bunch of other fruit that I could replace it with if that little red splash is 100% necessary to your image. So we're gonna go ahead and just fire off this first one right here. Make sure I didn't screw anything up. All right, let's go ahead and just hit our first exposure. So I went ahead and I moved a few things around, and this next exposure, I'm actually just gonna go a little bit crazy here. I am flipping all the way over to f32, which I think lands our shutter around 10 seconds. So like I said, I'm gonna double check the data sheet, and then I'm gonna go ahead and fire off this longer exposure and see if we can get everything in focus. So I was right and I was wrong. I was right that Provia has an insane exposure length before reciprocity kicks in. I was wrong because I said it was like around 5 or 10 seconds. It's actually 128 seconds before you have to account for reciprocity. So for this 10-second one, no reciprocity. We're just gonna go 10 seconds straight up. So how I'm gonna get this 10-second exposure, since I don't have my cable release, I am setting it to T mode, and I have my timer right here. I have the timer set to 20 seconds. So that way I can hit start, situate myself, and then when I see it hit 10, I can go ahead, click the shutter, and I'm not trying to do both, start the timer and take the shot. So here goes the timer. Get all ready so I'm not just bumping everything around. And go. So to switch things up a little bit, I moved this in just a hair closer because I saw that I had about 1 inch before it was poking into the frame, so I brought it right down onto the frame line, so it's just barely out of frame. And then when I bought this canvas, it actually came with 2 canvases. I'm gonna use this for something else, but I had the white here still. So I hooked this clip up to a baby pin and a mini grip head, just to bring it in as a bounce. I could have used any bounce, any white material. I had this laying by, thought it was kind of fun to use the other canvas. So we're gonna try one a little less contrasty, see how we like it. So I went ahead and repositioned. I dropped down a little bit and focused on the very, very close front and popped off the rest of the rolls. So I think that'll wrap us up and do it for today. I hope this was helpful. I'm gonna head home and get these developed so I can share them with you. And stay tuned for some more lighting breakdown videos similar to this.